How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. This is Deck Ready, my channel all about the Steam Deck. I hope you had a great weekend playing a ton of video games. I got some time into Arc Raiders, of course. That's the second news topic. I'm going to talk about what settings work great in Arc Raiders and whether or not it's worth playing on the deck. I also got some more time into Dying Light 2 on my Bazite PC. That PC rules. It runs that game maxed out at 4K, 60 FPS locked. It's unreal how good that game looks, and I'm glad they went back and patched it up because I hated it when it came out, and now I'm fully immersed into the world of Dying Light 2, or as that guy from the audience who messages me on Steam sometimes says, I'm dying my Light 2 so hard. Anyway, as always, let me know what you're playing down in the comments below, but in today's video, we've got two topics to cover, starting out with a brand new Steam Deck beta, but this one's a little suspicious. And after that, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about Arc Raiders on the Steam Deck, but spoiler alert, this game is excellent. Before we jump into it all, I would really love to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's like the one goal I set this year, so if you really enjoy the content here on the channel, help me out by subscribing and setting your notifications to all. But anyway, let's get into the first news topic here, which is of course a brand new Steam Deck beta that adds some features and unfortunately takes one away. I bet you can guess what it is. So the first big thing that comes along with this beta is that, there's this big problem on Steam where people will add you and then message you and they seem normal, but then suddenly you get a notification that they want to trade you something for your entire Steam trading card library. They tell you to get into some game. They send you a fishy link for a playtest because those go around on Steam chat a lot. And then you click it and suddenly you're locked out of your Steam account and you lose all access to all of your games. And then you check G2A and your account is there and they're selling your individual games as accounts on G2A. So like Steam generally does a good job of getting that stuff back, but they're trying to nip it in the bud so they don't have to. So now if you get a suspicious message on Steam, whether you're on your PC or your Steam Deck, it'll give you a warning and say, hey, this is suspicious. You should probably unfriend this person. As for what metrics they use, I couldn't find that, but I'm assuming they're going to look for new accounts that are just adding a lot of people and messaging them because, you get a level on Steam based on the age of your account and how many games you buy and how many trading cards you have, X, Y, and Z. So if it flags for not being an old account or an account that plays a lot of games, like if it only exists to message people or leaves like Counter-Strike 2 or a free-to-play game open for hours, I'm assuming those are the flags it'll use to warn you. This shockingly has become more of a problem for me since I let everyone from this channel add me on Steam. I think I'm up to like 400 Steam friends, and the vast majority, like 99.9% of people have been totally normal and great, but there's also been a noticeable rise of these accounts with like anime girl pictures, and you check their account and they have like 600 hours in like Dota 2 exclusively or Counter-Strike 2, free to play games, which means they're probably just letting them run at the menu in the background to build up their game time and get around these checks. They open the conversation by saying, hey, which is what all of you do. So I say, hey, and then suddenly I get a trade request for some trading cards or something like that. I go right to their profile, unfriend them and block them. So like it hasn't been a huge issue where I've lost anything just yet, but if you get any suspicious warnings out there from Steam about someone chatting with you or adding you on Steam, be careful with it, because before I let people from this channel add me, I didn't even get friend notifications unless I really knew the person, which I'm assuming is how it goes for you. So you're probably already dubious if anyone adds you out of the blue. One issue that was plaguing me that they fixed, the next issue that they fixed that was plaguing me though, is if you leave your Steam Deck on for a long time, like you play it, you put it in sleep mode, you plug it into the charger, you never let it turn fully off. Sometimes after a while, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth will just stop showing connections. They won't be off. They'll be on like in the toggle menu of settings, but you won't see any Wi-Fi networks and you won't see any controllers or anything that you've connected over Bluetooth. This was obviously a bigger problem on my SteamOS PC because I connected DualSense Edge to it and I can't hardwire it because of the room it's in. It's an addition to my house, so it's like solid brick and concrete. There's no way to really get through it without screwing up the wall. So I use Wi-Fi, and then I turn it on after a while to go play Dying Light 1 or 2 or whatever, and I noticed that Wi-Fi was off and Bluetooth was off. They have said that they fixed this multiple times, so I'm not holding my breath. I don't know why this is an issue almost 4 years into the life cycle of the Steam Deck, but if they're working on fixing it, that's good enough for me, right? Like, it's not a console OS, it's a PC OS. They're supporting other devices out there now, like the ROG Ally, the Legion Go S, and everything else. I'm willing to give them some grace. I just hope they eventually fix it because it is annoying. I complain all the time about, stuff getting in the way when I only have a couple of hours to sit down and play games at the end of the night. So I want to back my words up and my praise for SteamOS. So they got to get this one fixed. Hopefully this beta works. The next issue is one that I've seen a lot of you commenting about, so I'm glad they're addressing it. The Discover Store was completely broken on the Steam Deck for a while. Like, you would go to update your apps and they would fail and you'd have to restart the machine because it would basically make it inoperable. They say they fixed that with this beta. I tested it out. All my apps updated it. I saw a lot of people talking about it, so I went to the Discover Store and tried to update all my apps before I got this beta, and it worked fine. So it seems to only be affecting some people. If you don't want to install the beta, the best thing you can do is re-image your deck, but the important thing to remember to do is leave your files in place. It might delete some of your games that you'll have to re-download from Steam, but anything you've installed on the side, like with Heroic Launcher, or if you've downloaded Need for Speed Most Wanted from like 2005 like I did, I was scared when I turned on my Steam Deck and all my games were gone after I re-imaged it and left files in place. But thankfully all of that stuff was there and all my emulation ROM files and everything were there. So like, it'll get rid of some of your Steam games, but your extra games that you've added on the side that don't have cloud saves should be fine. I'm saying should because I don't want to guarantee it because I don't know. But for me personally, when I re-imaged my deck because it was having some weird sleep wake issues, I left files in place and everything that I really cared about not losing, I didn't lose. So that's important to know. So hopefully the Discover Store is fixed soon. If you don't want to use the beta, re-image your deck or just wait. I don't think it's that big of a deal because I don't really use a lot of stuff from the Discover Store. An interesting side note, Bazite got rid of the Discover Store. They have their own thing called Bazaar now, and it has all the same stuff. It might be the same thing with a different skin. I don't know. But yeah, the Discover Store was having some issues. Allegedly, they fixed those. Of course, they have to take some features away though with every update, and this one keeps coming back. I said you could probably guess it, and what it is of course Wake on Sleep with Bluetooth. But now they've only taken it away from the LCD Steam Deck. Unfortunately, that seems to be the most popular Steam Deck. I know because a lot of people told me they just bought LCD models when they were on sale for $320. So if you're someone who uses an external controller with your Steam Deck, that's going to be a bummer. Going back to this, why they had to remove it, it was turning on people's stuff if they had it connected to multiple things. Like someone had their DualSense connected to their PS5 and their Steam Deck. Their wife tried to turn on their PS5. It turned on their Steam Deck LCD and then it kept it on in their backpack and it got super hot. So they were having issues with it. The controller would also never turn off. It was having problems. Then they resolved it on the Steam Deck OLED. And as someone who, my test case is the Nintendo Switch 1 controller because the battery life is infinite. I know it's always connected because it has a little blue light on it when it's connected over Bluetooth or in Bluetooth mode. It's never woken up my Steam Deck without me wanting it to. So it's working on my Steam Deck OLED just fine. It's just Steam Deck LCD seems to still be a problem child, so they've removed it. Silver lining, if you are someone who really cares about this feature, they are usually pretty quick to re-implement it. Like last time I covered it, by the time that the video is posted, which was like a day after I recorded it, they had already pushed out a new beta that reactivated it. So, just wait and see before you try to wake up your Steam Deck with your controller. I can't imagine a lot of people are doing this, mainly because the docked experience on the Steam Deck is not amazing. I don't really know anyone in my personal life who has a deck that actually uses it docked. And if you're playing on it not docked, why would you use a controller? I use one all the time for filming B-roll. Like when I want to get a video of the Steam Deck screen playing a game and I don't want my hands in it, I'll just connect my DualSense or whatever, or my Nintendo Switch 1 controller. But outside of me, my weird extreme edge case where I'm filming it, I can't imagine that many people are too concerned about this. It's just funny at this point that, they keep adding it and taking away, adding it, taking it away, adding it. So hopefully they figure it out once and for all so I can finally stop talking about them adding Wake from Sleep with Bluetooth controllers. And finally, if you're one of those people out there who never update their Steam Deck, and I know they're out there because I've seen this pop up a lot over the past couple of months, if you're updating from a really old build of SteamOS to the absolute current build of SteamOS, sometimes it'll fail and then you have to reinstall SteamOS by making a flash drive and everything like that. I'm glad they went back and addressed this, even though, again, I don't know how many people do this because it's just annoying to have to reinstall SteamOS. It takes a little bit of that premium look and feel away from the device, and you're going to remember that pain point of going to turn on your Steam Deck and play some games and realizing that the update failed that you just did and made some coffee while it was updating. So they've addressed that. I don't have a way to test this because I keep both of my Steam Decks updated, but if you've been having that issue, it should be resolved now on the latest beta. Again, if you don't want to install the beta, you could just wait a little bit because they've been pretty quick about pushing them into stable, but you know, it's out there right now. If you're really just feeling the urge, the itch, whatever you want to call it, to update your Steam Deck because you haven't done it for a while, I would install the beta just to make sure it all goes over smooth, and then you can bump back to stable once it's updated to the latest version. So yeah, pretty good beta all around. They're consistently adding, improving, and fixing bugs to the Steam Deck, and I'm glad they're fixing bugs because I've been on my Steam Deck a lot this weekend with a brand new game called Arc Raiders. This game is awesome. I play a lot of extraction shooters. I've started with Tarkov, obviously, because that's where everyone starts, but I quickly got away from that when my friends stopped playing it and Hunt Showdown 1896 took over my life. Hunt Showdown is kind of like a light extraction shooter in the sense that there's not a lot of looting going on. Like, you loot in the actual map, but you're not really trying to take anything out except for bounties and cash. Like, cash lets you buy weapons to take in and new hunters, and bounties increase your XP and the cash you get. That's really the only thing you're taking out. It's a much more PvP focused experience. On the Steam Deck side, I have played a ton of Zero Sievert, which is like a pixelated top-down sort of Escape from Tarkov single player version, and lately I've been playing a lot of Escape from Duckov, which is single player Tarkov, but you play as ducks. It sounds so dumb and it looks dumb when you're playing it, but it's addicting as hell. And even though it doesn't have controller support, it works great. There's a great controller profile you can download from the community that maps every button you could need. It's easy to get the hang of because it's mapped so well. It's like the buttons are what they do, what you think they should. So it didn't take me a long time to figure it out, even without a tutorial. So yeah, I have a ton of experience with extraction shooters, so I was very excited for Arc Raiders because it looked awesome. Like, the vibe in the world and everything was immediately something that hooked me. And also, I played the alpha earlier this year, and I've never played more of an alpha before, I'll put it that way. I sunk so many hours into it, I was fully hooked, and I thought it could have released in that state, but they took extra time to develop more content, kill even more bugs in the game, and now that the product is out for $40, it's been a great experience, even on the Steam Deck. So the PvP in this game is not so hardcore where I think 30 FPS is that detrimental. I've been doing just fine with 30 FPS, and the settings for that are the medium preset with FSR set to balanced. But if you're like a frame rate is everything person when it comes to any competitive game, you can push it to 45, 55 FPS if you set it to low with FSR on balanced, and it really doesn't look that bad. Unreal Engine 5, for all the shit I give it, it really is a good scalable engine. Like, it looks good on low, it looks good on ultra, so like that's one win going for it. And also, this game is incredibly well optimized, obviously, because it runs at a locked 30 or locked 40 on the Steam Deck. That shows it's well optimized compared to how Unreal Engine 5 games have run on the Steam Deck in the past. And getting it up and running wasn't too tricky. I'm sure Valve will get the regular version of Proton updated to work soon, but all I had to do was set it to experimental mode. Unfortunately, right when I sat down to play it on Sunday, they apparently had some hacker problems or something, so they had to implement a queue. I couldn't get into it on any of my PCs, whether it was the Steam Deck or my main PC or my Bazite PC, so I didn't get to play it yesterday. And the reason that was a bummer is because it's just so much fun. Like, the whole loop is easy. You get into a map, you loot, you get stuff out, you sometimes have PvP. The PvE is all with robots that are really fun to fight, like when you shoot their engine off and they fly in an erratic pattern, and there's guys coming because they heard you shooting. It creates these really good tense environment moments. The traversal is great. They have a little bit of the parkour system from Dying Light of all games. Like, you can fall off an apartment building and catch yourself on a balcony halfway down so you don't take health damage. It's the perfect amount of difficulty. Like, it's hard, but it's not brutal and unforgiving like Escape from Tarkov, and it plays really well on the Steam Deck. If you watch the shorts I post on the channel, you knew about the settings already because I got one out pretty quick, but if you don't watch shorts on YouTube, yeah, those settings I mentioned earlier should be just fine for you, and Embark has committed to making sure it runs well on the Steam Deck with anti-cheat. So if you're looking for a multiplayer extraction shooter on the deck, not only is this your only option, so like you should probably buy it, but it's not like a caveat, right? Like it's not like, oh, this one's okay, but at least it works on Steam Deck. It's like, oh, the best extraction shooter I've played personally in a very long time also happens to work on the Steam Deck, and for 40 bucks, I think it's insanely worth it. They just put out the roadmap. There's a new map coming in November, and then they're adding snow to it in December. It looks like they used that extra time to get more content ready to go for after launch. Battle Pass system, I don't love that it has one, if I'm being real. Like the store was working day one and it had a Battle Pass. It uses the Helldivers one. That's kind of like a trick because it's like, oh, you can unlock in any order you want, but you can't move on in pages until you've unlocked a certain number of things. But they don't have anything too crazy in the Battle Pass, so like for now I think it's fine. And I did get the chance to play with a couple of you on Thursday last week, so if you see me online and you need a third person in your group, feel free to shoot me a Steam invite. If I'm not already in a full squad, I'll definitely join, and the built-in voice chat works, so if you have it, use it. Anyway guys, as always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and shape on.